Introduction to Criminology. Four people that have contributed in criminology. Number 1, Cesar Beccaria. Number 2, Cesar Lombroso. Number 3, Rafael Garofalo. Number 4, Enrico Fiori. Cesar Beccaria, one of the most important influences upon American attitudes toward criminal justice. Beccaria emphasized individual dignity within the criminal justice system. He stood against the use of torture and capital punishment. He is well remembered for his treatise on crimes and punishment 1764, which condemned torture and the death penalty, and was a founding work in the field of penology and the classical school of criminology. Beccaria is considered the father of modern criminal law and the father of criminal justice. Opposes capital punishment except under very restricted circumstances, and he argues that torture should never be used against an accused whose guilt has not been officially established. Other sanctions discussed are imprisonment and banishment. Three tenets serve as the basis of Beccaria theories on criminal justice: free will, rational manner, and manipulability. According to Beccaria and most classical theorists, free will enables people to make choice. So Cesar Beccaria is the father of old criminology. And number 2 is Cesar Lombroso. Cesar Lombroso was an Italian criminologist, phrenologist, physician, and founder of the Italian school of positivist criminology. Lombroso rejected the established classical school, which held that crime was a characteristic trait of human nature. Lombroso, on 1876 biological theory of criminology, suggests that criminality is inherited, that the someone born criminal could be identified by the way they look. In, eight, in 1876, Lombroso, an Italian criminologist, proposed atavistic form as an explanation of offending behavior. Cesar Lombroso is widely considered the founder of criminology. His theory of the born criminal dominated European and American thinking about the causes of criminal behavior during the late 19th century and the early 20th century. The Italian criminologist Cesar Lombroso on 1835 to 1909 devised the now outmoded theory that criminality is determined by psychological traits, called the father of modern criminology. He concentrated attention on the study of the individual offender. Lombroso became known as the father of modern criminology. He was one of the first to study crime and criminal scientifically. Lombroso's theory of the born criminal dominated thinking about criminal behavior in the 19th and early 20th century. So Cesar Lombroso is the father of modern criminology. Number 3, Rafael Garofalo. His major contribution was the formulation of a theory of natural crime. The theory embraces crime of two types, those of violence and those against property. His Criminologia in 1885 was translated by R.W. Miller on 1914. Born in 1851 in Naples, Italy, Rafael Garofalo became one of Italy's leading criminologists. As mentioned before, Garofalo was a student of Cesar Lombroso. Like his mentor, Rafael Garofalo rejected the classical view of free will, saying that criminals were slaves to impulse out of their control. So Rafael Garofalo is the student of Cesar Lombroso, and they rejected the classical view of free will, saying that criminals were slaves to impulse out of their control. The term criminology was first coined by the Italian law professor Rafael Garofalo in 1885 in Italian Criminologia. In 1807, French anthropologist Paul Topinard used it for the first time in French criminology. By peculiarities, Garofalo was not referring to Lombrosian stigmata, but rather to those particular characteristics that place offenders at risk for criminal behavior. he developed four categories of criminals, each meriting different forms of punishment: extreme, impulsive, professional, and endemic. So, Rafael Garofalo is the first coin. The term criminology was first coined by professional Professor Rafael Garofalo. Number four is not but last but not the least. Enrico Ferri was an Italian criminologist, socialist, and student of Cesare Lombroso, the founder of the Italian School of Criminology. While Lombroso researched the purported sociological factors that motivated criminals, Ferri investigated social and economic aspects. His disciple, Enrico Ferri, developed the theory of C. Lombroso and belonged to the criminal sociology school. He believed that the reason of crime is not completely determined by the individual's biological genes, but the result of the combination of psychological genes, natural condition, and social environment. So Enrico Ferri is the student of Cesar Lombroso. Enrico Ferri classification of criminals. The entire body of criminals may be classed in five categories, which has cleared early as 1880, described as criminal madmen, born criminals, criminals by contracted habits, occasional criminals, and criminals of passion. That's all. Thank you.